What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 5 Cents Podcast. Today, I am your host, Josh. It's been a hot minute. And today, you already know I'm joined with the usual crew. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
You can't start like that. What's up, y'all?
You gotta tell Josh. You gotta direct.
We do the same order every
I know.
time.
We're trying to change from that, though. We're trying to change from that. I'm leaving this part in so the people know. If you don't know us by now, y'all should have known. Go watch episode 1. But for everybody listening, what's good, y'all? It's your boy Nate, back for another episode.
Oh, fuck it. Whatever. We gonna figure this shit out.
No, we ain't figured this out. I'm with my boy Zay. Say what's up.
None of this is getting edited. I just need to let y'all know. We're not editing none of this out.
Hey, bro, we gotta keep
Zay's got us in a filibuster right now.
Right,
as long as he holds out the episode gets started.
It's like episode 10 or 11 right here. I'm here with Zay, Jackson, Nico, and Nate. There you go. The crew's introduced.
Now he's stepping over us.
I got you. Look. My name's Zay. What up, y'all?
What up, Jackson?
Greetings.
Oh,
Your boy, Nico.
Oh my
Y'all know what the fuck going on. No, I'm just joking.
Nico had a 3-stage hand motion for that, bro. That was
Please listen to this one on
complicated.
Spotify. Do not watch the video.
Yeah, please don't. Actually, I just got my hair cut, so please watch the video.
But first, let me just check in with the boys. So, how was the week? How was the weekend? What everyone do? I know what some of y'all did, but for the ones I didn't know what y'all did.
All right, you talking to me? So I just went home, visited family. You know, just got some family time in. Got to see one of my boys. You know, he's still in Nashville. I just basically, just kind of took a weekend. Well, not even a weekend, like an evening to go back home, talk to my family, visit family, and visit some good friends too. And that was it, man. That's all I did.
Wow, that's respect right there. Sometimes I feel like those weekends are needed sometimes. So I mean,
You gotta go back to your roots one day, bro. You feel me?
Now, why are you saying it like that, bro?
No, I like it. I like this. I like no. That one was fine. You're just jumping in for nothing. You're jumping in for nothing, Josh. That was fair. That was a fair statement.
Bro. Gotta go back to my roots, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Bro.
I came from
That's what I'm saying, bro. I hear go back to my roots, and bro, I'm thinking of Ancestry.com talking about some. I'm 20% Nigerian, so I decided to visit Lagos, Nigeria.
Oh, you're the only person that does that. No one else thinks like that.
Damn. I keep facing.
Bro, okay, Nate, for real though, bro. Are you really not editing this?
No, we're leaving this shit.
Why would you?
Okay,
This is content.
This
This is content. This is content right here, boys.
Man,
How about you, man?
What
What you do, bro?
I was really chilling this week. I went back to the hometown yesterday. Kicked it with one of my homies' birthdays. Shout out Chathan. Went and grabbed lunch.
Okay, yeah, that boy right there, he's ugly.
Yeah, big 23 Jordan year. So you probably not gonna listen.
Okay.
But shout out him. Grabbed lunch with one of my homegirls this morning, and then drove back. So I've been chilling. Really, nothing too crazy.
Bro.
No, me and two of the dudes in here, Nico and Jackson, we had an event for Saturday night.
Yeah, it was fun.
Can I just say something real quick before you start? Because I know this is. I heard you sold the bag, Josh, bro.
Oh my
Ain't
god!
nothing new under the sun, bro. Ain't nothing new under the sun.
Oh yes. No.
Let him and sold, bro.
Let him tell the story and start, because it's right at the critical mass of the story is when he sells the bag. So Nico and I can interject the perfect moment right when he does sell the bag.
Don't let him lie either, bro.
We won't.
Lie either.
None of us. That's why all three of us are here. No one can lie. No one can say stuff that didn't happen.
Okay, look. So we're gonna tell this night from my point of view. Now, Nico and Jackson also have different point of views, because some of us did different activities throughout the night. But this is just one of your normal squad link ups. We're like, hey, a lot of us are in the same area. Let's link. Let's head downtown. Downtown Nashville is actually kind of like prominent, like in terms of like places that people like to go to. So we ended up going to this rooftop bar called Miranda Lambert's.
Yeah, it was
And I
Miranda
went.
Lambert's.
It was me, Nico, Jackson, and a couple of our friends as well. So we were like a squad. So we squatted up. So we get there, vibing, and the first ridiculous thing that happened to me is I go to get a drink, right? And this boy Nico with me because Nico had got there a little bit late. So he was like, bro, I need a drink with me. He was like, this is cool and all, but I need a drink. And I was like, yeah, bro, let's head up there. So we get to the table, right? And like dude's like taking care of other people. And then he gets to me, and this is like after like I hand him my card, right? Some random girl just comes behind me, inserts her hands into my front two pockets, pulls my body like directly behind her, and then starts trying to do all this weird stuff. And I look at Nico with my mouth wide open, like, bro, what is happening? So then I react because I'm like, this girl's doing all this, but also trying to pickpocket me at the same time. So I just slap her hands away, right? And then after that, she switches from behind me to in front of me and starts twerking on me. And I am just like shook. And while she's twerking on me, right? She saw me put my wallet back into like my back pocket because I'm doing this all while I'm trying to get my drink. So I insert my wallet into my back pocket, and then sure enough, she started twerking. And she reached her hand around and tried to give up. And I'm just like in awe that this girl is this persistent to try and pickpocket me.
This man Josh was dancing with Catwoman, bro.
Dude, I saw it all.
Nah.
I literally watched it all happen, bro. I was just like, and I looked at Josh. He was just like, bro, what the fuck is happening? I was like, Josh, I don't know, bro.
Dude,
I thought
he was lying.
Like, you gotta go.
Because he came back and he's like, these people keep trying to pickpocket me. And I was like, yeah, whatever, dude. Like, no one's trying to pickpocket you. And all night he was like, bro, people keep trying to pickpocket me every
bro, this is serious, bro. Like, you got old ladies at their 40s walking around hitting me drinks. And I'm like, bro, what's in this, bro? I gotta sit that right on. I had to sit right on the table. I was not going.
Bro, did you see the one old lady that kept talking to me, bro?
Yes, Nico. That's why we didn't help you.
Y'all was on the sugar mama yesterday, bro.
No, bro. She came up to me. She said, "I don't know how to dance. I'm just a white girl." And I was like,
"Oh, I know it's good." She was talking to me.
I said, "Girl, you just gotta feel the music." She was like, "I don't know how."
But not me. Move it away.
Not Nico entertaining it.
So that was right. And the people that we met throughout the night were like super fun and interesting and entertaining. Like we met this like one group of like white girls, and like they were like hanging out with us in like our like little circle on like the dance floor, right? One of them was like from Minnesota, so if we refer to her, she's gonna be just called Minnesota. And she came up to me and she called me like Quavo, right? She was like, "Oh my gosh, like Quavo, is that you?" And I was just looking around like. And then she started telling other people, and then they started seeing it. They were like, "Oh my gosh, Quavo!" And they were like, "Oh my gosh, wait, he brought Little Yachty," because there's some dude with dreads that had red hair. And I have to admit, that boy was shaking it on the floor. That boy was like, he had like the right type of energy. And then later, one of these girls,
they thought this nigga.
I'm saying, this happened to me when I was in LA too, all the time. So like literally, I don't know what they're seeing. It's probably the round glasses and twist, which they're not dreads, which doesn't make sense, but you know, it worked.
I'm with you.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Oh my god,
it worked.
Everywhere I go, they think I'm Quavo. Come on.
No. It worked. It worked for Josh. It worked for Josh. Like he completed the study guide, but he didn't apply it to the test.
Quavo side by side. Y'all tell us if y'all think this nigga.
I got you, dude. Literally, if I pull my hair back and I have my glasses,
take the hat off. Take the hat off. Do your Quavo impression right now. Come on.
Yeah. We don't have to.
If you're gonna talk about it, yeah, do your Quavo impression. Put your glasses on.
So I feel bad for the audio listeners out here since they can't see this, but if I take my hat out, pull my hair back like I have dreads, which my hair, I'm not.
Nigga, you look like Lil Bill. Stop. You do not look like no Quavo. Chill.
Oh my god.
Those are just some random ass drunk white girls, bro.
No, bro. Podcast people, bro. I'm literally, because he's doing this, bro, I'm going to upload a picture on our Instagram. So for anybody watching this, look at the Instagram.
He really wants to look like Quavo, bro.
I don't, but now they's doing me dirty, bro. And I can't stand for this, bro. Because they would have made, bro. And I'm not starting this on the podcast because I will destroy this, man. So we're not doing this right now.
Hey, bro.
But so let's continue. So the other night we were meeting interesting people. So Minnesota girl, right? She came up with this dance. Well, not she came up with this. Apparently, it's a dance they do in Minnesota, and like it's like they're like looking through like a lens with like their fingers up, and it was like a legit dance move. So the whole night we over here dancing around, hitting different moves. I'm like Millie rocking, and then I'll be like, and pause and stuff. And like they were just having the greatest time. And me and Nigga looking around like, what is, bro? Put your phone up, bro. Put your phone up. Put your phone up, bro. Put your phone up, bro.
Oh, you're not letting me go, bro.
Come on, go, Bill, bro.
All right, bro. I did a poll on my Instagram, bro, and I have evidence on this stuff, bro. So we're excluded this fact. But I'm just trying to fast forward. So like one of them eventually saw Nico and called him J. Cole, which I've been calling him this since I've met him. So that was funny. So we all had like people that we looked like for some reason. Jackson. He's just Jackson. And
Yeah,
Jackson doesn't really need to concern about that because he was already occupied the entire night for the most part. So fast forward, right? So I sold the bag 3 different times.
Yeah, don't you dare skip ahead. I thought you were about to just go at the end. I was like, no, don't you dare start jumping these out.
3 different times. And I was sad. I thought about it and I realized, yeah, I'm tripping. So the first time I sold the bag was Minnesota girl, right? She'll be the first of this because the whole time, she's constantly like talking to me, dancing with me, having a good time. And then one time, like she was like, "Oh my God, I have to put you on my Snap." So this whole time, my phone's dead, right? So I can't like acquire stuff.
Like this dude doesn't know his username. By the way,
I don't know why it was that. So then, what happened? Listen, chill.
He admitted he sold. He can finish this.
I know. I'm saying, chill. So she like literally like records me and like we're like in a video together, and literally it just didn't cross my mind to be like, yo, you need to add me on Snap since you're already putting me in this video. You can even tag me. Like I don't know why these things just weren't coming to my head at the time. I was like, damn.
Because you're a numbskull.
I mean,
so that was bag 1 that I sold.
If it's
now, second bag I sold. You said what, Nico?
I was saying, if it make you feel better, I sold the bag too, bro.
I know.
No, yeah, trust me. When you go, you get to tell your story. I'm going last, and I'm recapping the whole night from my perspective, and I'm gonna go over anything y'all miss.
Okay. So the second girl, right? So I remember her name. So we were leaving the rooftop, right? And some girl, she literally was walking with her friends, right? She saw me, like we're also leaving. She grabs my shoulder, stops me. It says, "Hey, my name's Olivia." And I look at her and I say, "Hey, my name is Josh." And I keep walking.
This man Lego man his way out the fucking building.
I literally saw you do that.
Gosh, you gotta know better, bro.
He tremendous sold, bro. This dude actually stiff armed her like Derrick Henry. It was like, hold on, gotta get out this club with my boys and just walk.
Super sold.
Wait, hold up, bro.
You gotta know better.
That's 2 of 3. That's 2 of 3. There's another one. Don't let him off the hook yet. He's gonna finish the third one.
The third one is the worst. That was the biggest bag.
You know how much confidence it probably took that girl to walk up and be like, "Hey, I'm Olivia," and this nigga just walked off.
You squashed that under your heel, bro.
See, that's why females start tweeting men ain't shit. It's because
It's you, Josh.
Bro,
just because you're selling.
Literally, I just had the objective that we needed to leave the club and go to a different one. So I was just like, "Oh yeah, I don't have time for Olivia." So I just literally said, "Hey," and I just kept moving. And then it took me till later in the night, and I was like, wow, what was I like? Why did I not just start talking to her? Like that
my
was
man was stumbling.
So after we leave this rooftop, we go to another rooftop. I think it's called like Florida Georgia Line.
Yeah,
right?
Florida Georgia Line House.
So we were in Florida Georgia Line House, right? So now this girl, multiple people had tried to talk to her. So like one of the boys that we were with, I didn't know this prior, but had like already tried and failed to talk to this girl, right? But we ended up like making like another dance circle. Like we made like a group of girls. You know, Jackson was with one of them. You know, he was doing his thing, and like so like we're like dancing, having a good time, and like for some reason the club like closed early, and it took me to after we all walked out and got outside to realize, oh, I need to go talk to her. I need to go get her number.
Not the anime gas.
The problem was, I was like, so like we were walking out, and I was like, look, I'm not trying to look like a stalker though, so I'm not gonna pursue this. Well, the whole time I should have, even before we left the building, like when they were kicking us out, I should have went up to her and started talking to her because like we were vibing, having a good time. Everything was like chill, so like nothing would have hurt to go talk to her regardless because we had to leave anyway. So those were the 3 bags I sold.
No, I'm gonna describe it a little bit more in depth, Josh.
Okay, that girl I was the most interested in because like I was just the most interested. Go ahead, Jackson. Go ahead.
So we're leaving the Florida Georgia Line house, all 5 of us. Mind you, I was part of the reason why it took us.
First off, before Jackson goes, Jackson sold a little bit. Me and Crit, we were trying to leave earlier to go.
I know what you're about to say.
And this man wants to see Tennessee whiskey. We were trying to.
That wasn't Tennessee whiskey. It was Don't Stop Believing. And
sure was Don't Stop Believing. You're right.
Yeah. 2, I was up on stage just doing that. Y'all didn't have to wait on me. And 3, this is where you're not allowed to pin this on me. There is a circle of about maybe 8 people. It is, or I guess that would have been 9. Our group and then the girls, right? And like when they go to leave, they were all leaving together, but the dudes on the stage were singing "Don't Stop Believing." So I was like, "Oh, that's hype! I'm gonna go up there and sing it with them." So I just jumped up there real quick and hit like 4 lines. Y'all kept it moving towards the door a good bit, so I was like, "All right, I'll just meet y'all at the bottom of the stairs." But the reason why I wanted to bring up this story, Josh, is because we get outside of Florida Georgia Line house, and I want you to picture this. He's just standing here with his arms crossed, looking off in the distance as this girl walks away, just going like, "I should have talked to her," and we're like. You can still see her. Like, what do you mean I should have talked to her? She's right there. And he's like, nah, I really don't want to go running after her like that. And so we're like, all right. And then the millisecond that she's out of eye shot, that we can't see her anymore, he goes, nah, where's she at? We're like, what? Like, bro, she was right there. Like, she was literally less than 50 yards away in a wide open street. Like, it just unfaltering eye contact. And you just waited till you couldn't see her to make up your mind. And so then here we go, running a whole like 3/4 of a mile up the street at a brisk ass walking pace, trying to figure out where she went, with Josh just in the front, like hound dog in the corners, trying to figure out like she going here, she going there, she in this part. And we were just like, bro, like you can't make up for this. You sold.
I'm not gonna lie. When we were following that group for a little bit, I was like, Josh, we gotta chill, bro. I was like, bro,
no, we were thinking the same thing. Me and Nika were thinking the same thing because I was like, I know how this looks, and now being in the situation, I understand why people get labeled when they get labeled. And I was like, I'm stopping immediately. I just stood there. I said, nah, it's not worth it.
That's because you were. Like, that's because you were eyes locked on, like get out, hunting some prey. Like you probably would have thought you were getting labeled because you were zeroed in on this girl from behind doing this.
What's that one song?
Catching up to her.
I need some water. Something came over me.
But like that night, like on all though, it was funny. One of the funniest moments, I don't know if they remember, was like we were inside Miranda's, right? And it was like a twerk song that came on, right? But like before it came down, the music started like the DJ started mixing it in, so everybody knew what was about to come on, right? So everybody's looking at each other like, oh, like what's the move? Like what's going on? Like are we doing this right? So one of our boys looked at the girl, right? And she was looking at him like eye to eye. And they were like, what's the move? So the beat dropped and this dude tried to slide in. And she literally said, hell no. And I just
Wait,
it was, you could hear it. Like it was one of those where like it was in the moment where like they add one of those little like producer tags at a beat drop, so it's a lot quieter than the rest of the music. And so you just heard like do 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 do. Hell no. It was like right on the drop.
was laughing so I had to escort myself out of the circle. We were gone. I was like,
I fell on Josh. I collapsed on Josh over by a pillar. It was too funny.
I was like, ain't no way you just took an L like that in front of like 40 people, bro. I
was
refused,
brutal.
Bro, was it that dude with the red jacket? Was it that dude that got curved, bro?
Nah. See, okay, you don't know what happened then.
Nico, I don't think was Nico there yet.
I don't know.
Maybe Nico wasn't
I don't
there
think
yet.
you weren't. I don't think you were there yet. That was really early. Because that was really early. Because that was when I was still in the circle with you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. But that sums up my perspective of the night. There was like a lot of funny stuff that happened, but the other two could probably cover it. Which Nico also has a goofy perspective because apparently I messed him up on accident, not even knowing what I was doing.
Yeah, no, okay, look. So from my perspective, my ass always late. So I get there late, I pull up. Josh meets me in the line, we joking and shit, go inside. So I'm like, well, first things first, I gotta get a drink. So we dance a little bit, and then we go get the drink, and that's when that pickpocket shit happened. And I was just like, oh, hell no. I see that shit with my own eyes, bro. I was just like, Josh, we gotta go. So they start playing, good music and shit like that. We're all dancing and stuff. And so, I don't know, pretty much, yeah, like we all ended up, catching some booty from some attractive girls.
You're phrasing.
That's a crazy way to say that.
Bro.
That's a crazy way to say that.
That was the most ridiculous way I've ever heard somebody describe it. That was some Willy Wonka phrasing, bro. Golden ticket looking.
Okay, look, we all managed to do some good dancing with some fellow female competitors.
I sure. Whatever. I'm just gonna give it to you before you keep trying. Just go get worse and worse.
All right,
so y'all dance with some attractive girls, bro. What about it?
Huh?
Bro, you making this too long, bro. Y'all dance with some attractive girls.
Bro, I was gonna keep going. Y'all stop.
No, go ahead, Nico. Go ahead. Keep it rolling, Nico. Keep it rolling.
All right, so we dance cute girls, yada. So we're dancing, you know what I'm saying? We're still at Miranda's Lambert's. We end up leaving. But before we leave, there was, bro, on my end, I sold the bag because, bro, there was this fine ass Latina girl, man. And before I got there, I was like, Jackson, where the I have a little type, you know what I'm saying? So Jackson was like, yo, like, I got you.
Not a predator though.
No. We gonna fight, you know what I'm saying? We were figuring it out, yada yada. I see this girl eyeing me from across the club, bro. I look at her. We look at each other, make eye contact and shit. We did that shit multiple times, bro, and my ass didn't say a word. It was like I wanted to talk, but my mouth didn't open, bro. I was dancing, but it was tough, bro. It was tough. So next time I'm gonna say fuck it. But like, anyways, we end up going to the next bar. And at that point, I was just kind of like, I'm ready, I wasn't really feeling it as much, but like we were still chilling and stuff. And me and Chris, we were just chilling at the bar, getting drinks, shit like that. And so then we end up like going back to dance, and Jackson was like, y'all being lame. And I was like, you right, bro. So we end up we get the circle, we got the group of girls, and this is when I was like, so I was trying to get in the circle, bro, and getting some good dance moves. And I swear, bro, like every time I tried to get in, this nigga Josh was like, I was like, move your fucking shoulders. Like, I was trying to be in too, bro. This was like, I'm like, bro, let me in, bro. I was trying for 10 minutes, bro. I could not get in the circle, bro. So I was like, all right, bet. Because, like, the girl that, like, Josh was trying to talk to, bro, she had a good vibe, man. She really did have a good vibe. Like,
she was really cool.
People. Like, she was goofy. We were all making up different dance moves and shit. It was a good vibe, bro. And, like, her friends were, like, pretty cute, too. And they had the same vibe, too. So it was lit. I was like, I'm trying to hop in this. So I was a little salty at first, but then we got figured out, it was all good. So then, we end up dancing, having a good time, and then that's pretty much it from my perspective. I mean, if I miss anything, like, I'm sure Jackson can.
I got plenty
the
of details.
ground.
I've been taking notes. So I'm gonna keep it as concise as I can, so that you, Nate and Zach, y'all can make your judgments and ask your questions if necessary.
It's
but
too late for that.
To start the night off, I think there's some important information that we're missing. First of all, We had done this last weekend as well. The reason why last weekend was different was because I was stupid and I had misordered my IDs. I keep one like older ID, so I have my driver's license number because I don't have it memorized. In case I forget it and my real ID is misplaced somewhere, I can at least give somebody my driver's license number and they can check and see it's not really expired, like if it's a police officer or something. But I had flipped the order, so the expired ID was in front and my real ID was behind it. And so when I went to give it to the bouncer, he was like, "Yo, your ID's like expired like by 2 years." And I just was so tired that I didn't think and be like, "Oh, I just gave him the wrong one." I was like, "Oh, my fault." So like we basically, I was like, "Oh, I guess I can't go in the bars." So then Josh and them had to join me in one that just didn't check very carefully, which wasn't as like big or as lit as any of the other ones. So that's like a little bit of context. Like we had
Yeah.
done this once before, and everyone had kind of been like wanting to go harder, and so they were like, "Hey, what are like the bigger bars, like the more fun ones?" And so the plan, excuse me, was to go Miranda Lambert's, Jason Aldean's, and Florida Georgia Line House. We ended up not making Jason Aldean's because we were in Miranda Lambert's till a little after 2 in the morning, starting at like 11. So we were there for a really long time. And so there's also a little bit more important context to add. I think this is a funny detail. It ended up working in his favor, but Josh was wearing these hilarious shoes because
I don't know why.
there were these pointy dress shoes that, like I said, they worked in his favor. But when you looked at the way he was dressed, it was just like it was the Nirvana shirt with the pointy dress shoes with this really specific, like it made a lot of the stuff he would be doing extra funny when he was like joking across the room, because beforehand we were joking about how he was gonna cut people's Achilles tendons with them shoes and stuff. Like,
Hold on.
Oh hell no.
So let me take back over for a quick sec.
Yeah, you get 30 seconds to explain yourself.
So this is what happened. So I had to leave in a dash from Huntsville to get to Nashville because I had an event prior to go to, right? So I'm driving down to Nashville, and then I text Jackson. I'm like, "Have you left the house?" Because it hit me. He was like, "Yes." I forgot all the shoes I wanted to bring. I left them in the living room. Like I never put them in my car. So the only shoes I had on were the dress shoes I had on for the wedding I was going to. So I'm looking at my bag of outfits and I'm like, man, how am I gonna make this work? So I always feel like these weren't the right shoes for it, but there's like a vibe, like a more like mature vibe. You got like a nice shirt, some jeans, and then some like nice shoes. Like they're not like J's or anything, but like there's some like solid like dress shoes. So I was trying to go for that vibe with the wrong type of dress shoes. So yeah, I walk in and all sorts of people are like actually like complimenting the shoes. Like I'm getting compliments and I'm interacting with people because of the shoes. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I like your shoes. Like they're great." And then some people are like, "Oh my gosh, how much do those cost? I cannot believe you're wearing them in here." I'm like, "I can't either." And then I start telling them why I'm wearing it in this. It was leading to like a lot of conversation. And it worked in my favor, surprisingly. Because I thought I looked ridiculous, but people were vibing with the look. So I was like, job well done, accidentally. But Jackson, you continue.
I said you didn't look ridiculous, but whatever you would do, that dance move that Nico's talking about, where you were doing the stepping and you had those shoes on, it just looked it just looked extra funny. It was just entertaining. Right. And so, for context with this group as well, one of the guys that we had gone out, are we dropping names for our group? Like if it's not embarrassing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Okay.
That's cool. That's cool.
One of the guys that we had gone out with the week before, Chris, has this habit of like when him and I are like talking, he instigates me. And I've told them this as well. He's kind of like the devil on the shoulder. Like I'll say like, maybe I should go talk to her, maybe I shouldn't. And he'll be like, "Nah, do it. Why not? Goes well." And so he just kind of like gets me in that zone to like just go and be on some nonsense, which I normally don't do. So that kind of will explain a little bit of this perspective because there are some holes. But when we get to Miranda Lambert's, right, we get up top, and the group that we were dancing with at first, there were these two like built dudes. I don't know what one of their names was, but the other's name was Michael. And so that group of the girls that they were talking about had all kind of congregated with these three dudes. So it was like us, the three dudes, the guy who they called Lil Yachty, and a bunch of girls all in this big dance circle right in the middle of the club. And I like have a distinct memory snapshot. I'm not gonna specify who this was because this one is a little funny. Right when Josh is telling you about that moment where the girl was like, "Oh hell no!" Like it was like the lights were flashing and everything, like doing like the strobe effect leading up to the beat drop. The music was getting crazy loud, and Josh and I had made eye contact and noticed what was about to happen. So we were like on the edge of our seats, like anticipating this moment.
Yeah, we were like,
And
yes,
when
sir. My
and
boy's
when
gonna
it
get that dub.
when it happened, it looked like the looks on both of their faces, and the fact that Josh, like, I don't know if it was like a sonic boom effect, but he heard it like a millisecond before I did, because he was already falling away from the circle as the music dropped. Josh had his hands over his face like this, and was like 30-degree lean toward the nearest pillar to try and escape the circle as fast as possible. So then I start like joking with Josh, like basically tripping over him, and it just made it so much worse because we caused this huge scene, and then the whole group like split in the middle and just isolated those two in the center. It was so bad. It was awful. But right after that, Nico joined. And I had been talking the like weekend before how I wanted Nico to be there. It was so much fun. Like having everybody there, minus y'all too. And I wish y'all could have come, but y'all have to come next time. But after Nico joined, it became this kind of like not concerted effort, but like, let's try to talk to some girls. Let's try to talk to some females here. And not to pat myself on the back. I was doing some heavy lifting for y'all. I was trying to integrate the groups a good bit. And when we were originally doing all of that nonsense, at the Miranda Lambert house, it was kind of already set. Like we had this huge group and everything. But like they said, at the Florida Georgia Line house, we ended up with this other group of girls. And that one's they covered the events very well, except for how hard the DJ was selling at Florida Georgia Linehouse,
Bro,
because y'all glossed over that detail so hard. I'm not the kind of person to say that I have game, but usually as the music's good and everything's going right, it's not going to be that big a deal. I mean, I was having to put in work because the lights were bright. He was playing some stupid mixes, and I was like I'm actually having to like put in a lot of effort to not look stupid, like just to not look like an idiot. So when they say they were selling in Florida Georgia Linehouse, that's not like a rookie mistake. That was genuinely like the DJ was playing awful music, so you had to be really funny and really off the cuff with your dance moves, and the lights were crazy bright, like genuine LEDs. So you were getting to see everybody's pores and the sweat on their skin and stuff. So you had to really be on game if you were going to look good in that scenario. So I will definitely back them up there. But I think the funniest stuff was in Miranda's house. We all kind of like split essentially. I went off with those two other guys because the three girls that we were with were kind of like a friend group, and so we were talking with them. And Josh was over with Nico in Minnesota, and then the other guys, Chris and Junior, were kind of floating and like intermingling and stuff. And then when we were walking out of the house, just hearing everybody's experience coming together as one, and like Junior giving his story and Chris giving his story, and Josh talking about Josh doing this over and over because I didn't know what he was doing because I wasn't with him and Nico when they were doing this little dance move. So whenever he's going around looking at us like, hey, we'd be like, what like what is happening? What is this?
Dude.
It was a good time. It was a really good time.
That shit was funny as hell.
Because it was like she would say the dance move. She'd be like, "What? You don't know what this is?" And I'm like, "Bro, what are you talking about?" She was like,
Bro.
"This," and I look at her and do it, and I would just start laughing. But then it became funny to like I genuinely like had fun with it. So then I started doing it on purpose, and then Nico started doing it on purpose, and then we just made it like a great time. So nah, it was definitely pretty chill, but like.
Nah,
It
bro.
was a solid night.
Y'all can't. Jackson, did you see when this nigga Josh was like ballroom dancing with that one white girl, bro?
Yes, I did. Go ahead. Bring it up. Bring it up then. Bring it up then.
I was like, and her husband, whoever she was with, he was just like, oh yeah, he was just enjoying that shit.
Ain't no way.
Like,
Joshua, bro. There's no way.
See, I thought we were leaving the embarrassing stuff out by name, but if we gonna do it like this, we're gonna do it like this. All of it's coming out then, Nico. The gloves might have come off.
Okay, so look, let me explain myself, right? So while
Yeah, go ahead.
we're there,
Make this make sense, Josh.
while we're there, right? So like another girl like came in out of nowhere, and she also had like a really good vibe, and she was just dancing with everyone. She was just having a good time.
Oh,
And
you
then
talking
she
about
like
that one?
no,
Which
well,
one
I'm
you
talking
talking
about Miranda's. I'm talking about
Yeah,
Miranda's.
yeah.
She
Which
had
one you
like
talking about?
curly hair. The one I danced with. Well, I danced with two people. That's the thing. So the problem was the second person I danced with. So now the first person, right? So like she was cool, and like she looked at me and she was like, "Come on, you got to do this." And I'm looking at her like, "I don't dance. Like you no, you don't want this." And
He
she was
was
like, "Come on,
trying
come
he was
on."
trying his best to sell the bag before it even begun. He was trying to forfeit the
So
game
then
without playing.
like she was like, okay, we'll go on your rhythm. So like I developed like a little step from like stuff that I've seen on TV. And like after a little bit, we started getting fluid and it started like looking good. And the problem was everyone was watching us for some reason. Like I swear people weren't watching earlier, but they were watching us. And then like right after this, she was like, "Hey," gave me a hug, and like we started talking a little bit. Like right after that, bro, like a 40-year-old woman like came up to me. She was like, "We gotta dance, we gotta dance." So then she started trying to do the same thing that I just did with this other girl, and I'm just like, "Yo, I gotta get out of this." So then like it's like 30 seconds that passed, and then I just hit one of them spins, brought her back and then started laughing so that we could break it off. So I started laughing and walking away. And she started laughing, and then I was able to like escape from that situation.
Let's just note
But
that
yeah,
Josh had no issue till everyone started looking. That should be the part of the story that everyone needs
no,
to focus
This
on.
man
no.
Josh is trying to slide with somebody's mama, bro.
Yeah, he had no issue till everyone was
No, look,
watching.
I didn't know how to reject her. So I had to
PS5
start dancing
bro.
first. No, because the problem was I wasn't trying to do her like our boy got done and everybody's just watching and it's like damn bro like so I wasn't trying to do her like that. So I was like, okay, let me start dancing. So I was just waiting for the moment that I could stop. So once I found that moment, I was like, bet, and then I stopped. But by that time, they were just already on my case, and I'm like, look, bro, you don't understand. I was set up. I couldn't escape the situation. I'm trying to explain myself, and they don't care. So it's just like,
Oh no,
but yeah, that
you
did
reminded me of
happen.
one too, Josh.
Oh, what's up?
When I was with those two like light skinned guys, the girls that we were like the friend group that we were dancing with, they were like these three white girls, and they had a fourth friend who's just like, do you remember the redhead, Josh? Josh and Nico, do you remember her?
Yeah.
She was the fourth part of their group, and they're from Kansas City, and they're cool. They're cool folks. But for some reason, like at one point, one of those guys, like one of the light skinned guys, his name was Michael, and my name's Jackson. So they got a kick out of Michael and Jackson being in the. It was like ah ha ha hilarious. And so we were just. It was one of those things where like they said it, and we looked at each other like. Like I guess it's funny, I don't know, and so but he and I were like chit chatting, for a little bit. We were like having a fun conversation. And I remember at one point he was like, "Hey, bro, like I mess with you. You're cool." I was like, "Yeah." And so we dapped each other up. And when we did it, all three of them were like, "What was that?" And I just remember looking at him and being like, "What?" And the redhead came over with her phone in my face and goes, "Do that again." And I was like, "Do what again?" And she was like, she stuck her hand out. And I was like, so, so her phone's in my face, and I'm like trying to go over her friend, mind you. Like there's a whole person between us during this conversation, and so like I'm trying to teach her. I'm like, no, like she's drunk too, so I'm trying to teach her. I'm like, listen, like listen. If you're gonna do this, it's super simple. Just you're good.
That's
And
what
when I
happens when you
tell
go
you,
to a
Josh,
bar called Florida
it
Georgia Line, bro.
no, this was at Miranda Lambert's. Don't slander Florida
Miranda
Georgia Line
Lambert,
yet.
man. Tell me, wait, bro.
And
Tell
Josh,
me if you know someone.
I don't think Joshua
Miranda
and Nico
Lambert
saw this
is
because
someone
they were,
trying to lock people up.
huh?
I
What
said
did you
Miranda
say?
Lambert. You don't know what a dap is, bro.
That's
Yeah,
a
Ain't no
good
exactly.
way,
shit,
man.
She had
Good.
legitimately never seen it, and so she was
Bro,
like,
these
teach
Kansas
me how to
City
do it,
girls build different, bro. They don't know what a dap is. That's crazy.
bro.
That's crazy right
It
there.
was so funny. So me and this guy were like, we were laughing so hard because it took her a bunch of tries to figure it out, and I was like, no, dude, like literally like this. So then all the girls started practicing dapping each other up, and they were just messing it up. This dude Michael and I were just looking at each other like, I'm not gonna say anything, but like this is awful. Like, this is genuinely painful. And I remember I couldn't get y'all's attention because I didn't want to like leave and like dip from that scenario because it was funny. but I also wanted to like get y'all's attention. And I can't remember what you were doing at the time, Josh, but y'all had like, we had kind of peeled from the circle a little bit. So it was originally one big circle, and then we three were kind of in a circle, and they were in a bigger one. And I think it was Junior was in the middle doing some nonsense, going hard, and the whole crowd was hyping him up, so I couldn't get any of their attention. I wish I had y'all for that, because the rest of the night she would just randomly come up to me with her phone in my face, and just be like, with her hand out, and I'd be like, all right, so I'd tap her up, and she'd like giggle and run away. It was ridiculous.
I don't know. There was a point in time where I had split off on myself, and I was just dancing with like just random people. And so eventually I ended up somehow making it on like one of the little podium things. And like,
yeah, I remember that.
And this dude gave me his cowboy hat. He was like, I fucks with you. And he gave me his hat. So I just started dancing with his hat, bro. Dancing with his hat. So I don't know. It might have been during that time, bro.
What color cowboy hat was it?
Bro, it was like beige or like tan or some shit like that. I don't know. But I started like spinning it.
Was it a white guy who gave it to you?
Yeah, it was.
No, I thought it was like. Is it was like? I thought there was like a.
Yeah, it was like
Asian-ish
a.
dude.
He was like a big white dude. He was a big white dude.
Oh, okay, I know who you're talking about.
I think I remember who you were talking about. I was just trying to place who it was when we were in the club.
But no, it probably was during that time when I was just doing my own thing.
Yeah, I was having trouble finding everybody, man. We all got split up at one point or another. I lost Chris for the better part of that night when we were in Miranda Lambert. I didn't see him. He was out. He was out doing his.
Chris.
He was always
Chris had his own story going on.
Yeah, Chris sold. Chris sold once, and then he just got his feelings hurt.
No, that boy Chris
I'm roasting
y'all talked about me. That boy Chris had a layup, bro. Now that's inexcusable. I had like a good free throw. He had a layup. So we both.
Oh, you gonna do him like this?
Hey, you had a layup, but he had a reverse, bro. That's the.
You
had the reverse, and he had the layup, bro. That's the.
No, Josh, you had a layup too, bro. You had a layup, bro.
Josh,
I even like switch spots with you, bro.
You had a layup, Josh.
I like moved out the way and put you where I was.
Nah, you know what? Before they even say anything, before they even say anything, I'm gonna say this to both of y'all's credit. These are just two respectable gentlemen who don't want to do anything to make somebody else uncomfortable, and that is very much in their credit. They don't want to go out and make someone feel really weird about themselves or make them feel uncomfortable in a public space. They're just considerate guys. So when we say Josh is selling, it's not some negative thing like, oh my goodness gracious, you're such a like garbage person. It's more that like his intent to be respectful is overpowering his confidence to just go and talk to someone under the assumption that they're gonna like him. And so like I just want that out there while we're talking on the subject of selling. It's not really selling. It's more just
it's selling
letting
right.
that no. It's no. Y'all see that's the thing is y'all say you sold, but in all honesty, you have to go out on a limb to a degree. And like I said at the beginning, having Chris there just means I'm gonna do it because he's just sitting there in my ear, just like, yeah, you're a bitch. You should go. And I'm just like, all right, what? Yeah, you know what? Watch this, and then I go do it. No, Chris is fun. I like going out with Chris. He puts me on demon time. Oh yeah, he puts me on demon time. But Josh and Nico, when they talk about selling, it's really just because they're considerate. They're just considerate dudes.
Yeah. Nate, after y'all heard our Saturday spill, what do y'all think of the matter?
Yeah, y'all niggas are funny.
I mean,
there is some white girl out there in Minnesota with a video of Josh on her phone. Like, man, I was trying to talk to this dude all night, and Quavo just kept rejecting me.
Quavo didn't give me a Snapchat.
Honestly, I didn't want to bring it back up, but the fact that y'all went to a bar, I don't remember if it's the same one or not, and some females didn't know what a handshake was, makes it even more realistic that they thought you were Quavo.
I'm like pretty serious.
Yeah.
I think you could have 60-40'd them that you were Quavo. Like I think if you had said like, oh yeah, you know me, and they just rolled with it, you could have 60-40'd. I'm pretty sure.
What a good mama. You good, bro? Mama.
Some ad libs in the middle of the songs.
Yeah. I'll say, I guess my response or my reaction is, I'll say it like this. So, I don't go to bars too often. Bars are interesting. But the thing about a bar is that there are really no consequences because you'll literally never see that person again. to be honest.
Facts.
So you really like when you was talking about Chris being on certain timing, I've made a lot of stupid decisions in a bar on that same type of thing. So it's never like a bad thing
Same
to be
here.
too cautious, but I think y'all are probably just overthinking a lot of the situations, to be honest.
Nah,
Because
They
most of the
forget
time
they're
it's
good looking
like
dudes, bro.
it's like you're just dancing with some random person you met. They're not gonna give a fuck who you are the next day, the next week, bro. So it's like
nah,
unless
that's
you do some
facts.
like
And
wild
what?
shit. The wild shit, that's we don't fuck with that here on the
Nah, yeah.
podcast. But just in
Nah,
general,
the
you know.
problem was it hit me when
None
we
of
were
that wild
walking back to the car. I literally was like, "Wow!" Like that statement that you just said, Nate, hit me when we were walking back. I was like, "Wait, I'm never seeing this person again. Why did I just not?" I was so
That's why
disappointed
people
in
like bars
myself.
so much is they can go and get drunk without any consequences, which is a terrible decision. That's why I really don't fuck with bars like that too often.
Yep.
But because then liquor starts
Not
flowing
just
through
do it
people.
sober, bro.
Yeah, but then it's boring and it's just cringy. So
Nah, Nico and I had that exact same conversation walking out of the Florida Georgia line house.
Yeah.
That exact same conversation. It's one of those things where like as a function of advice, you're absolutely right, Nate. Like I wouldn't ever tell anyone like, yeah, go get drunk and test your confidence in a bar. Go see like what you're capable of, in quotes. You know, it's not something I would ever recommend. But if you're gonna be there, like if you're already gonna be in that place, that's already what you've decided to do, and you feel like you want to, you know, let's just even just use the phrase spit game, right? Like you would just want to go talk to women, see if you can like flirt with them, dance with them, that kind of thing, whatever happens. The whole like premise of going to a bar for that purpose is that they're there because it's fun, they can be with their friends, and they can meet guys who are going to come up and talk to them. And you're there because it's fun, you can be with your friends, and you can go up and talk to girls. Maybe it happens in the reverse order, but you're all essentially there for the same thing. The only thing that's going to differentiate whether or not they want to talk to you is whether or not they like the way you look, the way you talk. That's pretty much it. So if you go up, you have two variables to contend with. One of them you can't really control other than how you dress and your hair and all that good stuff. The other you do control. And so if you just go up and present yourself exactly as you are, odds are eventually it might work. And if it doesn't, you can feel free to change whatever variables you want to change. You might not want to go in there with those lemon pepper steppers like Josh had on, but it's you know, to each their own. And so if you're gonna do it, then understand that you never should push the boundary of someone else's like space or someone else's willingness to interact with you. That isn't it's not an automatic guarantee. But having the confidence to approach someone, just like Nico and I were talking about, like, or actually this was Junior and I were talking about, the whole premise is if you're gonna go up and talk to somebody, the easiest way to do it is literally just to go up and be like, hey, I'm Jackson, nice to meet you, what's your name? Like there's no magic like line or like you don't have to be sneaky, which I really want to talk about that first time, Josh, that first time we were in Nashville, because oh my lord, that was funny. But you don't have to be sneaky and try to like wait for the right part of the music and then slide in behind some girl like when she's not paying attention, like a assassin style kill.
We don't endorse that on the 5 Cents
It's not
podcast.
what you do. Like that's not what you do. You just literally go up, say hi, introduce yourself, and the whole problem resolves itself. And you know, it to the end, like at the end of the day, this included. This is the final thing I wanted to say. At the end of the day, if you go down to a bar and you dance with 4 dozen girls and they're all absolute perfect tens or whatever, or if you go to a bar and you just hang out with your friends the whole time and you don't dance with a single girl or anything like that, the only thing that will make your experience is whether or not you understand what you're there for. If you're the kind of person that wants to be there to dance with women or to be with women in some capacity, if that is your only goal, why are you going with friends? You're just there because essentially your goal is to ditch your friends. Not that it won't be fun if you can't get anything, but you're going to spend the whole night with a group of people that aren't what you're looking for. So if your only goal is to go get women, go out, do your thing. And that is a choice that you can make. I don't recommend it in any capacity, but it's there. But if you're the kind of person who just wants to go out and have fun, understand that that fun isn't necessarily with the other gender. It's not necessarily something that you have to get by getting someone. You can go out and do what we did like the first time or honestly last time and just just make a dance circle. Just walk in the middle of a big club and push everyone out the sides and then have a bunch of dudes come in and start doing goofy dance moves, and then everyone has fun. And that that is equally as validating as experience as going out and being the biggest player that ever was. And no one will look at you and give you more respect for being either type of person, because at the end of the day, everyone's there to have fun.
I said a lot of times at the end of the day, if you're just having fun with the homies, that shit will happen anyways. That's another joke.
Yeah.
They gonna see you turning up, having a good time. They can be like, "Ooh,
What's he on?"
let me hop in this real quick."
Trying to force himself on me right now. Who is this?
No,
It's
that's
just refreshing.
That's fact. That's literally what happened to us.
Yep.
That night. So.
But don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
Josh still sold.
No, yeah, that was happening, and I still sold. Everything was working in my favor, and I somehow still sold. That's what's crazy.
Bro, you could have got you a babe and a sugar mama, bro, and then life would have been great.
Oh my god,
Josh turned into the Avatar, bro. He said, "I have acquired Earth, wind, fire, water," and then that nigga disappeared, bro.
he had the 1,000 years of salesman pass. You know that blue state he goes into where he gets talked to by all the old avatars? It was just all the dudes who sold in that club before him telling Josh, "Nah, you shouldn't talk to her right now, bro."
That's what I'm saying.
He said,
"Oh yes, bro,
you sold, nigga."
Back into the memory, and he sees them all fresh and shit, and then they sell the bag, and they're like, "Now you are one of us."
Oh, no.
You are now officially a salesman, Josh.
And bro, instead of an arrow, bro, a big blue L is going to appear on his forehead.
He got an L on his head.
Hell no.
He got a bag under his eye, bro.
That's when it's time to go to the next bar.
Yeah, the best part of it was that Josh was joking on Nico a little bit when we were having this conversation the other night. He's like, Nico, you sold, and then in the middle of that he was like, wait, I sold, and we were like, yeah, you did sell. So then, and we had a good conversation about everybody selling.
Yeah, next time I'm not selling, guys. I'm gonna be.
You heard it here first. It's on record.
Nah, Nico's got to be on light skin activities with me. That's what I was saying. I need him to come out and misbehave.
No, see, Nico's problem is he's always on the sad light skin activity. You need to be on that.
I need Nico to be on demon time with me, bro.
Yeah.
You need to go from Marvin's rooms to Poppy's home.
Way too sexy, bro.
Dude, that song came on and I was getting lit, and Josh was like, I hate this song.
Hey, bro, that shit was hard, bro.
Yeah.
That shit was
I had
hard.
to get lit because everyone else was getting lit. I couldn't just be me and be like, this song is trash. I had to ignore the fact that I thought the song was trash and still turn up.
No, but look, bro, you can't take away from the fact that song got some very good turn up value to it. Like,
in a club, especially.
Look, honestly, a friend of mine gave me perspective on that song today that kind of like changed the way I look at it. So he was like, think about it, bro. All these girls got all these songs. They, you know what I'm saying, they empower them, make them feel good. He was like, Way Too Sexy is the first song to make a guy feel good about himself. He said, you got a big nigga with a stomach, he gonna play Way Too Sexy, he gonna be rocking that stomach. He said, you feel me? Like, all, you know what I'm saying? It's something that like makes us, you know, it's something to feel good to. And, like,
I agree. 100%.
So I was like, you know what? That's a good point of view. And I was like, it makes sense because like if you looked at the music video, like he was saying the shit with no matter, like he had all types of different vibes going. And honestly, I told him he looked way too deep into that shit, but I was like, it's still a good time.
So you're telling me Way Too Sexy is the Bodak Yellow for niggas, bro?
Yeah,
that's what you basically just said.
It's the Bodak Yellow. It's the WAP. It's the all the Megan songs. It's all of them in one.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I stand by it. I think Nico's on facts right now.
Fact, bro. I mean, if you think about it, it's true.
I mean, I'm telling you, it came on in the club, and y'all were making fun of me for this, Josh and Nico, but it came on in the club, and I put both hands behind my back. I was looking at them like, yeah. Josh was so mad at me. He was like, get your hands back out of there.
Because what he was doing while he had his hands behind, that's what had me dying. But
I'm not gonna talk about it. You can if you like.
No, I'm chilling.
Yeah.
That's for the archives, bro.
Yeah.
That's a different story.
Hey, Minnesota knows.
She said
Kansas City does.
Kansas City knows. My bad.
And the binoculars.
That dance move looked so goofy because I couldn't see the girl because she was facing Josh and Josh was facing me, so I couldn't see her doing this. So it looked like he just kept doing that to her every 3 seconds. Like he just looked this girl in the eyes and go some googly eye thing and hit the whoa or something. So I just keep looking over.
Hell nah. This man was.
No, Josh was drilling that whoa, bro. Josh should go up there and shoot the arrow and then.
I was killing it, but then go ahead.
I was gonna say, I remember that Geico commercial with the money bills with the googly eyes on it, bro. And he'd always be popping up. That was Josh, bro. Googly eyes.
I integrated it into dance moves, bro. I thought it was clean if you understood what the move was, but from anyone else that was probably staring at me,
Josh means it was clean to that girl specifically, just to that girl.
Nah, bro. One thing I learned though, if you go to the club and you make up an ugly ass dance move and make it look good, they gonna do it with you, bro.
Yeah.
It don't matter what it is. If it look good, they gonna do it.
Yeah, that's something about that. That's something.
You just gotta go with the beat, bro.
But we gonna say that for another
ugly
episode.
shit. Nah, bro, it's crazy.
Hell no.
Right,
You're not gonna make me look like that type of bastard on the podcast.
Going down, I'm not gonna lie though. Going downtown though, it actually did bring my confidence up a lot, bro. Cause I was
exactly.
Like, I said, damn.
No, I'm telling you, bro.
You had women on your line. All you had to do was finish.
You gotta think about the difference. Is that damn? This is lucky content too, but it's like
no. Record it.
I mean, yeah, I just throw it in there whenever. I'm still recording. I didn't stop recording.
On the slick though, bro. What Jackson said really stuck with me, bro. It's like you go down there, but they don't even know what a dap is, bro.
No, like you literally like.
So
you just do yourself.
Of all the things that I said, that whole 3-minute spiel about like confidence and being the person that you want to be, the thing that stuck with you was the girl not knowing what a tap was.
Bro, I'll say it like this. This is my.
No, let him go.
I don't know what I would do if like I reached out, because that's my automatic response, bro. Like when I reach my hand out, I'm not trying to shake your hand. I'm trying to
get you with
trying to dap you up. So like I don't know what I do if like the situation came up where I was trying to dap them up or something, or if I was in your situation, bro, I would have laughed in their faces and they wouldn't have talked to me no more, bro.
Oh no.
I thought about the same thing.
No. See, here's the thing, bro.
Like,
Mike,
real, bro.
That guy Michael and I were laughing. It's just we were at this point we were a good 30-40 minutes into having been dancing together, so it didn't really matter what we did at that point. Like that was kind of one of those like, even if I literally was like being mean, it probably wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Josh is giggling, but I mean, it's the honest truth. That guy was cool though. He was a great dancer. That dude with the white, that Michael guy, he was clean. He was clean. Oh my lord!
Yeah.
Like I love going in dance circles, but whenever he was pulling up, I was like, keep me out. I don't want to compete with this man.
But then they would try to bring you in. They would point at me, and I'm like, I'm not going after that.
Okay, that was my fault. I'm gonna take full credit. Anytime Josh is there, he always stands on the side and doesn't participate unless I can get women to point at him. So I just go around and be like, hey, get him in here.
Nah, bro, I got fucked up, bro. They were doing their dance circle shit, and somehow some nigga's hat landed on my head, and everybody was looking at me, bro. So I went in the circle. And slipped. So it fucked up my whole dance, bro. I was like, oh shit. I just walked out the circle, bro. This nigga said, hey man, I wouldn't have let you fall, bro. I got your back. I was like, it's okay, bro. Here's your hat. It was crazy, bro. I was like, damn, this is why I don't dance, bro.
Also, did they play the Bobby Shmurda song, or did everyone just start doing that dance? Because
we were just doing it.
Yeah, because I remember I looked over and everyone was in there. I was like, "What is going on? Like, this is not." I didn't know we were in this dance. It was fun though. I was just curious. I couldn't remember if they played that song.
I remember now. This was what I was about to say, and then we can move on to the next topic. But I said the thing about a bar is why you feel so much confidence is because every day, whether you're in school or just at work or some shit, you're in a situation where not everybody is looking for another person to talk to or trying to like enjoy themselves. But when you're in a bar or like in a club in that situation, you're surrounded by people who are actually invested in trying to find somebody to like link with in that night. So that's why like you get used to, getting rejected all the time and shit when you're like in a normal life. But then when you actually get surrounded by people who actually are looking for people to talk to, it seems like a lot easier. You feel what I'm saying? So
And that
definitely
liquid
confident
courage.
boost. Oh yeah,
And
nah, a drink will
that's
let
a
you.
good perspective. That's a
Shit.
good perspective, Nate, because that's facts, bro. I mean, you're not gonna go to a bar to like sit by yourself. You feel me? You're gonna want to go have a good time. Like, I'm not finna go to a fucking bar and just be like, you know what I'm saying? I'm finna try to find someone to talk to, bro. Like, that's facts. That's straight facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got anything else for us today, Josh?
Yeah, low key it depends because this could be long, so this could be saved. But what I wanted to ask, because me and Zay had talked about this a couple weeks ago, and we had different answers on it. So I was like, "Huh, interesting." Let me
I
see
think I
what
know what you're
what
talking
the
about.
squad
I
is.
think I know what you're
Okay,
talking about.
so the question I wanted to ask is, should you still be friends with your ex? Why or why
Oh,
not?
it's okay.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go first because my view on it still has not changed, bro. No, I would not be friends with my ex. Just because me personally, I just don't see why. Like it doesn't click to me why. Like, sure, it's sad, but like, we tried it and it didn't work out. That's just what it is at the end of the day. So why else would I need you in my life? We didn't work out, so you can go about your business and go move on to the next one, and I'm gonna do the same. Like, there's just no reason. And I think he threw in like a screwdriver. He was like, "Well, what if it's like a family friend or something?" And I honestly, my answer still didn't change necessarily. I wouldn't be her friend. Even still, we wouldn't be friends, but it wouldn't be awkward if we were both in the same place, if that makes sense. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't be
Like,
weird. Like, I would talk to her if the situation came about. Like, if we were in a group setting, let's say we have the same friends, we date, we break up, I'm not gonna be her friend. No social media, don't text me, none of that, bro. But when we're in a group setting and they're like, and let's say I have to direct part of the conversation at her, I would just be like, okay, yeah, and while we're having the conversation, it would just be chilling. But I mean, after that, like, I wouldn't be her friend, and that's just me though.
for me, Zay, I agree, bro. I mean, it's like I feel like when it comes to like the whole being friends with your ex thing, it's like it depends on how y'all broke up. You feel me? Oh, and it also depends on like how y'all got started. Like for example, there could be a situation where you're good friends with a female. Y'all hitting it off. Y'all were cool before, and then y'all realize like, hey, maybe we want to take it to the next step. Y'all date, and then eventually, things probably don't work out. And it's like if y'all were cool enough before then, it's like y'all can somehow make it work to be cool without. Because it's like things only get awkward, if you make it awkward. So if both parties, are being normal about it, then it's gonna be normal, you feel me? But I feel like if y'all had like if there was like a bad breakup or there was tension behind or obviously you still have feelings for that person, you shouldn't be friends with that person because if you still have those feelings, then that friendship is just going to become complicated because let's say for example you're friends with that girl or you're friends with that dude and you see them with someone else, those feelings are going to come back. You're going to realize how much you like that person, and then that's going to cause tension between their relationship. You're going to be around trying to hang with them more, do slick shit like that. It's going to fuck it up. So I feel like I don't know, and maybe that's just certain situations, but I don't know. Like me personally, I think I would rather avoid being friends with my ex. But I mean, at the same time, I mean, if we were good friends and they're cool people, and like we end up breaking up on like equal terms, it's possible. But overall, nah, y'all should avoid that shit because complications are real. You feel me? So that's just me.
I agree 100% with those two, and it's mainly I think Zay, you hit it on the head. Not that I disagree with you, Nico, but Zay really defined what I think when people say like, "Oh, my ex and I are friends." No, no, no. You should most of the time, not always. If something happens, there are always circumstances, but you should be friendly with your exes. There's no point to take someone in your life who mattered to you and to cast them aside like they're dirt, unless they did something that deserves it, right? Like there are exceptions, there are situations where that's the case, but friendliness is a good It's like a good de facto. It's a good default. Someone that you care about and that cared about you, you probably shouldn't turn your back on them entirely. But to be friends is like you text each other, a lot, or you're on Snapchat together and you have like these long conversations like friends do, or things like that, or you interact independently of a group like just you two, and that's generally a bad idea. Like, not that, once again, there are exceptions to every rule, so I would be lying if I said like, oh, you can't. Like, you absolutely can. But just like Nico said, there are always going to be complications. Once you breach that line with somebody, you're never going to see them in the way that they were before entirely. You can get close, but there'll always be a component of your memory of that person that has a deeper meaning, a deeper context. And it only takes one of you to be feeling lonely while the other's feeling, happy or doing well, to mess up what you just tried to rebuild and to make it even worse. So the advice that I have is always be friendly to your exes. Like, there's no point in, once again, unless they do like some really loud stuff, be friendly to your exes, because there's no sense in turning your back on someone who mattered to you. But keep them off your socials, keep them out of your phone. There's no reason to be with them consistently, because all you're going to do is hurt one of you two. And if you still feel like that person, if you want to disregard all that advice that the three of us just gave and say, no, like, you're wrong, they're just important enough to me that I want them still in my life, they shouldn't be your ex. That's someone you should be pursuing. And if they are because they chose to leave, that's tough luck. That's still a fight you have to take. But you didn't just describe an ex, you described someone you're interested in. So if that's your perspective, if you hear those words and you're like, no, I still want to talk to them, I still want to be with them, it's probably because they shouldn't be your ex.
Yeah, I agree. Basically, you're good, bro.
You're straight.
But I agree basically what everybody said. I think it boils down to, which I talked a little bit on the marriage podcast we talked about. But I'm a firm believer in that once you love somebody and you fully invest in them, there's no way for you to ever cut just that feeling of love off instantly. So like, say you are in this person, you're in this relationship for however many months or however many years, and you've invested all this time, you've learned so much about this person, and you've like made yourself vulnerable for them. There's no way you'll ever be able to stop loving them, basically. And I say that about, whether it's a girlfriend, even some of my homies I've had to cut off in the past. Like, once you invest into somebody like that, you're always gonna have some ounce of caring about them. But it takes a certain level of maturity to realize that the best way for them to grow and for you to actually love the person they're becoming is for you to keep that space separate. You feel what I'm saying? So even whether it's like, I don't think you can really become friends, especially like recently out of a relationship, because that's just gonna mess up the way you're growing out of the path that kind of caused y'all to split apart, right? So say there was some reason that y'all didn't click, or there's something y'all couldn't agree on, or just basically y'all didn't think it would work out in the long run, where y'all ended up separating. You feel what I'm saying? But that wasn't really just for always a negative thing. A lot of the times when you get out of these relationships, or so the other person can grow and improve to a point to where you could see them as a better person, a better thing. But that doesn't always involve you in the picture. So I feel like if you really love somebody and you really invested yourself in somebody, you should be mature enough to be able to see that they don't really need you in their life to find out who they really need to be eventually. So I think you definitely should be cordial. I don't think you should instantly cut off, because that is someone you really care about, whether you like to believe it or not. Even if they do something crazy to you at the end, which could cause you break up, there was some point in your life where that was probably one of the most important people to you. You feel what I'm saying? You should still, check up on them, every once in a while. Not like, some niggas break up with a girl and text them every other week. Don't do that shit.
Future quote.
But, make sure, if you see the struggle, you can, shoot them a text or whatever. But at the end of the day, you got to give them the time to actually find themselves and fix those things that y'all had the problem with in the relationship. So I don't think you can be friends for, the same type of way that you were before with someone you broke up with.
Agreed. Yeah, don't send those. Halloween season got me thinking about candy, and I just remember how sweet you treated me. Tell your mama I said hi. None of that. That's not how you check up on somebody.
Bro. Criminal, bro. Hey, that shit was hard, bro. That shit was hard.
He said, take notes.
Up, kudos
hey, bro.
to you for
Hey, bro. That's what I'm talking about, Nico. I know you got that game in you. You just got to go in the bar and spit it.
He said, that girl you just matched with, send that to her. Don't send that to your ex.
Yeah, exactly.
I just don't be caring.
I know.
Only with certain girls, I be like, I gotta talk to them, bro. I swear, I don't know, bro. It's hard to find like that wow factor.
That true love.
Wait. Josh just went all Disney on us. No, you did not just add the ding at the end. All right, go ahead,
But
Josh. What you
nah,
pick?
Ness, you guys really summed it up. When I was talking to Zay, I was leaning more towards what I think Nico was the closest to what I said. I thought I just find it completely situational based. I think that each situation varies, but I do think that like there are certain situations that there's just no way that like after what concurred happened that friends should be in the picture. Like if it is, you have a problem and you need to get that addressed like ASAP. But other than that, I think that there's like levels to it. So like Nate said, like sometimes because like you cared about that person to a extreme extent, like whether like what I told Zay, let's say if you were best friends or family friends before, like in my head, there's no way to like cut that relationship to just only when I see them. Depending, like I don't know, but that's also based off of like my upbringing and like the way that I view it. So I also feel like that can also look different for everyone else. But like the way that I see it, no. But other than that, I agree. Everyone has pretty much said the same thing that like they mess you up, bro. You know, it's done. No friends. You see them cordial as it should be, and you keep it pushing, and you keep improving. They keep improving, and y'all reach y'all end goals. So nah, I think that sums it up. But we got some good perspectives. But that's about all I had based on
Yeah,
of the time.
I was gonna say, can I
Go
add one
ahead.
more thing right at the end? And this is just a personal thing. I'm not sure. I don't think everyone will agree with me on this, but like the last thing that you just said, you improve and they improve. And I think it's something that's important to remember is that even if someone hurts you, it's not that you should wish on their downfall. Like you can. I'm not going to tell you you can't. But understand that people make mistakes. Life is a journey for everybody. And part of your journey and that person's journey is now the decision that one of the two of you made, or maybe both of you made together. And so preying on their downfall isn't going to bring either of you. It might bring you momentary joy, but it's not going to bring you any happiness that you would get from, or that you wouldn't get from wishing them to well, like to do the same essentially that you would wish for yourself. So I just wanted to tag that on at the end because everyone was absolutely right. But we're saying don't
Wait,
be.
hold up. We finna have to
I
extend
was
this
about to
thing.
say because
Go ahead.
this man
Just
started
real
spitting
quick.
for a
I
second.
got you. Just real quick. Real
Go ahead,
quick.
Zay.
All right.
Go ahead.
What he said, bro, I fuck with that heavy, bro. I fuck with that heavy. Because here's my thing. I'm a big believer in that, like, when you focus on the negative, it's just gonna get negative.
Yeah.
So
Thanks.
I'll say it like this too.
so if you're just focusing on their downfall, if you're just focusing on their downfall, you're just focusing on the negatives.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, were you
Okay.
Bro, my shit lagging.
I didn't
A
know
little
if
bit,
you were
yeah.
done or not.
You were
Boy,
were like, it was
we
freezing at the
we could hear
perfect
what you were saying.
times. So I was
Yeah,
like,
dude.
we could hear you though, Zay. We heard what you
Nah,
said.
yeah, he was phasing through dimensions, bro. Boy was.
he was saying, I really disagree with that because that's a great point. And I'm like, oh yeah, and then immediately it would cut back in.
Yeah.
But nah, I definitely agree with that because I feel like at the end of the day, all that bitterness and hate in your heart, if nothing else, even though this person might have really hurt you or really does something just dastardly to you, that's going to stop you from moving on to anything else in your life. And the next relationship you see, dastardly, yes sir, I said it and I mean it because some shit cannot
Dastardly.
be explained. Hey,
Dastardly.
some of these females be out here doing some
Go ahead.
Professor
Hey, say it
Evil
loud.
shit. But
Some Doug
once-
Dimmadome type vocabulary coming out with the word dastardly.
hey, sometimes some of this stuff, some of these people in these relationships, men and women included, are just ridiculous. But that's a whole nother episode. But I'll basically say, with you holding all that hate in your heart and you holding all that resentment for that person, the reason you broke up in the first place is so that you can continue on with your life and you can continue pursuing your goals and pursuing yourself and give them the time to fix whatever that problem was that stopped that relationship. So even if you do kind of resent that person, that'll stop all the progress and even the reason that y'all broke up in the first place. You feel what I'm saying? You won't be able to grow. Anytime you meet a new person, you'll just be thinking about, oh, what if she's gonna do this? Or girls ain't shit because this girl did this shit to me, so I don't feel like I'll do this.
Dude, we are on big facts right now.
That's why I hate when people say that, bro. Because it's terrible. That's the whole reason you break up to begin with.
That is literally the
You gotta
problem
stop,
with
bro.
our society today. It is
That's
absolutely
oh my
ridiculous.
gosh.
It's literally ridiculous how much baggage people will just bring in from past relationships and continue to mess up other people's relationships. It is wild how you can sit there and think about how wrong someone did you, and then all you can
I'm a
do
victim.
is the next person
His
that's
name is
trying to get
Nico.
you right, that they just need a chance. You automatically set them to a standard that they shouldn't be set to. Everyone deserves the same chance to get what they want, like what they deserve in a relationship. And the fact that you're limiting them is only a detriment to yourself. And then you're going to be going through your life wondering why? Why do all women hate me? Why are women not shit? Why are men not shit? That's where these phrases come from. It's because they go through one relationship and then they use it to base all of their other relationships. So then they start setting these standards for each relationship. And then once it doesn't reach past this ridiculous frame, then they start spreading that toxicity, that negativity towards them. And then it's like they join a union, they join a cult. And then all these people just start popping up left and right and start having the same type of energy. And it just spreads and spreads. Well, really, if all we did was improve, because I bet even if you were perfect in a relationship, which nobody's perfect, there is something for you to improve in. There is.
Facts.
There is a learning experience in there. So please do some self-reflection. It matters. Reflect, improve, and grow. Boy, come on. Go ahead, Jackson. What you got?
Yeah,
Nico, you go. You go first, and I'll go after. I'm holding my hand up so I can remember what
I
I want
think
to
Zay
say.
got
You go.
something too again, right?
Yeah.
Nah, pretty much, man. I was just gonna say y'all gotta leave that baggage shit at home. Now look,
Mhm.
everybody got baggage, bro. Everybody has been through some shit. Everybody's been dealt different cards in their life. Everybody has to go about different shit different ways. But that baggage shit, you gotta leave that shit at home because the person, that new person you're meeting with and that you're gonna be with and shit like that has nothing to do with that. And so when you bring that in and you bring that negative shit that's with you and put that on someone else, it becomes their burden as well. And it's like people don't understand that relationships are supposed to be extensions of one's happiness. You feel me? You're not supposed to use a relationship to fuel your happiness. You're supposed to be happy by yourself. And then, you know what I'm saying, bring someone in that and, you know, y'all be happy together. So it's like when you bring all that baggage, all that negative shit with you, it's hard to, you know, have that, you know, happy, you know, field of whatever the fuck is, you know what I'm saying, that happy energy in your relationship because it's like that negative shit's always gonna be there. You feel me? So I think it really comes down to people dealing with their issues and solving their own problems before, you know, heading into that shit. You feel me? So
Yes. All right. Brief spiel. I have three short little like words I want to to talk about in relation to this: generality / generalization, entitlement, and red flags. The third one I have a very specific point about. Josh and I agree with what everyone has said so far. Using baggage to justify your generalizations of people is root logic base, a dumb idea. It's essentially prejudice, but you're allowing groupthink or an echo chamber to tell you that it's correct. Regardless of whether or not you are accurate on your prejudice, does not change the fact that you judged on your own cognition without taking into account the other person. And there's a difference between prejudice and actual like logical thinking. If you can reasonably tell that someone's going to do something to you, you should probably avoid them, right? That's not prejudice. But for you to go in with this understanding or this preconception that people are going to do something to you because they belong to a certain group or maybe act a certain specific way that isn't, you know, directly insinuating that they're going to hurt you, that's prejudice, and to a degree you might be harming yourself. Secondly, entitlement. And this is a very specific point that I want to make, and I want to make sure that I'm absolutely clear. Everybody deserves to be happy, but nobody owes you your happiness. Everyone deserves to have somebody, but nobody owes you themselves. So for you to come in and say, oh, my partner needs to be this, and that, understand that that is something you do deserve, but nobody owes it to you. So if they are that person, celebrate that you got what you deserve. But if they aren't that person, you have to understand that life comes in stages, and you can hope to work somebody to be the best them that they can be and hopefully fulfill all of your needs. But for you to go in advance and say you are unqualified, you are unworthy because you aren't this, is essentially to say that you yourself are worthy and deserving of all of those things on your root merit. And if you are, you better have a rap sheet that parallels right to it. If you're going to come out and put physical and monetary and intellectual demands on your partner, you better be able to at least meet similar demands for what they might consider. You cannot be both deserving and worthy without having qualities within yourself that are inherently deserving and worthy. And so this comes to my point about red flags, because people love to use that phrase. And red flags exist. Do not get me wrong. Do not get my words crossed up. They absolutely exist. But in a relationship between two people, a lot of times I feel like boundaries are construed as red flags. And a great example for our generation and our culture was the whole OnlyFans debacle. In my opinion, it is ridiculous to tell somebody that, say, in a relationship between a man and a woman, right? The woman wants to make an OnlyFans and the man says he doesn't want her to. A lot of people would consider that a red flag. In my opinion, that's a boundary. Regardless for what your take on that boundary is, the man is expressing that he is uncomfortable with that situation. If you think that's inoperable, if you think that's relationship breaking, if that's the type of control that you don't want to offer somebody, then that is a boundary that you cannot abide by. It doesn't make him a bad person. It simply means that you're incompatible in the way that you see the world. And you can choose to leave based on that. But it's reciprocal as well. If you're allowed to judge boundaries based on another person's willingness to accept, then you also have to understand the nature of compromise. Because red flag makes it sound like someone is doing something wrong, like that guy is incorrect for voicing the fact that he's uncomfortable. In my opinion, in a relationship, you can't be incorrect for voicing your opinion, even if your opinion is complete dog water. Like, you are just telling the person who matters to you how you think. That in and of itself is not wrong. Whether or not you're based on something that actually makes sense is for the two of you to decide. So throwing that word red flag in there is essentially insinuating that one of you has the moral high ground and that the other person is wrong for suggesting it. And you've just created a power dynamic. That's not a relationship. You're going back to that sense of entitlement. You have just created, essentially, someone who owes you what you want, someone who needs to provide for you the things and the situations that you feel you deserve. And in my opinion, that is a huge issue with relationships right now, is that it's all about, and Zay, you said this on an earlier podcast, and it's a great clip. It's all about, I need this, this is my power, and no one's actually getting anything done because it's just a cold war.
This nigga chose spitting.
Oh yeah, we're ending on that note. No further comments necessary.
Preach.
Literally, everyone just went down in a row and spitted straight facts. This needs to be an entire segment because it was just facts for 15 minutes, bro. Y'all, there's just no other way to put it, and it's just sad that we're at the stage that we have to talk about this. The fact that this needs to be addressed goes to show what we've become as a world/society. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's about all I got for this podcast. I hope everyone enjoyed. Do the boys have any more comments before we wrap this up?
Like, comment, subscribe.
Okay, commercial. Next.
Hey, thank y'all for listening to the podcast and our goofy story and tying it in on there at the end with some serious commentary. But if you want us to talk about anything, please, go in the comments. If you disagree with anything we said or, want to hear more in-depth ridiculousness about our shenanigans or whatever, just go in the comments and let us know. Feel free to strike up an argument. We'll do whatever we can. We appreciate feedback really of any kind because it gives us a platform to feel like we're interacting with you guys. So thank you for listening.
Yeah. What he said.
Man, I was finna give it back to that.
Yeah. Nico wanted to come back for round 2.
Go back.
But nah, basically what everybody else said, appreciate y'all for listening. The first fan meetup at Florida Georgia Line next Saturday. No, I'm just joking. But
Hey, I'll be there. If we doing it, I'll be there.
Hell no. But yeah, y'all just keep posted, keep putting out these videos, these clips. So keep us on all platforms. Let us know if y'all want to hear something specific, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, like if y'all got funny stories, y'all got topics, just let us know. We'll talk about it. You feel me? Like that's what we're here for. So.
Nico, shut up.
What? I can't even open my mouth, bro.
This man said the 3
Nah.
You laughed before I opened my mouth.
Dude, this boy talking after each person, bro. You ain't talking after me because this ending. I'm just like,
Oh, wait, we ain't let Zay say anything, bro.
No, go ahead, Zay. Yeah, I was gonna let Zay talk first, bro. Yeah, dude, this boy Nico goofy. Zay, you got anything to add, bro?
Nah, y'all said it. Y'all,
We got it
said
covered.
it all, bro.
Yeah,
We got it covered.
we said it all.
Yeah, we said it all right. But on that note, I would just like to thank you guys for listening to the 5 Cents podcast. Thank you for tuning in. It was your host, Josh. Be sure to follow us on all platforms, Spotify, Apple, Google, Stitcher, you name it, we're on it. YouTube. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave comments. And I know some the social media apps have Q&As and stuff built in. So definitely DM us or Q&A us if you want to ask us anything that you want to be featured on the podcast. But other than that, that's about all I got. You guys take it easy. Peace.
Peace.